is up, guys? Campbell Boys here with another BFL video. Welcome to the preseason pregame show where we'll be discussing the main topics of the Backyard Football League. I'm your host, Parker Campbell.
I'm Carson Campbell.
And our special guest here today is the one and only Scruffy YT. You can find his link in the description. Scroll down to C-Boy and you'll find it right there.
C-Boy.
But enough of that Clemson stuff.
Thank you.
We got the real team. You can go ahead and pull them from right there.
Just see them.
CVP in the building as well.
And then
From
you get the Red
Sea
Cross.
Dragons and him from the Piranhas.
Yeah,
So
we're the 2-0 team, just to get the team.
Alrighty, so let's go ahead and discuss the main topics here in the BFL. First off, let's talk about the schedule.
Oh, yeah.
How is that? So first off, the bowl game did get postponed, but how do you feel about that?
Pretty upset that no one decided the game. Kind of sad.
Yeah, just not available on that one, but it did get postponed. They're going to move it back to a later date. Maybe next season we'll play it. We'll find out when to play that, but we got to get into the playoffs. So here we are today
Sea Dragons
on
version.
Halloween. Happy Halloween to everyone out there. She'll be up there on Halloween for the BFL pregame show.
Yes. You already know we got the ghosts.
Coming up, starting November 6th, we might do a skills challenge or push the bowl game back to then, depending on what happens. But also coming up, we got the BFL Playoffs, big game. Sea Dragons and Flamin Wolves will be facing off.
Me and Nathan will be the ref.
They will be the referees for that game. And yeah, the
So
winner of that will go on to face the Piranhas in the BFL Championship, and they'll get a trophy, and we'll show some behind the scenes of the practices and the 2021 BFL draft coming up soon. Thank you, everyone. Let's go ahead and move on to the standings for Carson Campbell.
Piranhas are 2-0. And then the Sea Dragons.
Piranhas are just taking charge this season with a good roster.
And then the Sea Dragons are 1-1, lost 1-1. And then the Flamin Wolves, kind of a disappointment.
Flamin Wolves yet to find a win.
They're
But
0-2.
just two heartbreaking losses in a row. It's tough
Yeah.
to see, but they might pull
They
it
might
off in the
pull it off,
playoffs.
yeah.
Might pull an upset off coming up soon, but we'll
And then-
see. We'll see.
The scores are from game 1. It was the Piranhas versus the Flamin Wolves, 64-57.
High scoring game. Let's talk about that. How
Yeah.
does it go from that high scoring of a game to a low scoring game?
Cause
I feel like the teams
hey, let me talk.
they couldn't really get down the field as much as they really were, and the defense did step up. As long as well, both of the next two games were in the 20s instead of being in the 60s and 50s.
Well, yeah, cause
Because I feel like they were more high-paced, trying to score as much as they can instead of actually knowing what to do.
yeah, in game 1 we did. Our all-star player didn't really try on defense, but
They stepped it up in the next game,
Yeah.
for sure.
and then on game 2 was the Piranhas versus the Sea Dragons. The score was 29-23. Piranhas have won that. And let's talk about that game. So, Sea Dragons really didn't give much. They could have had way more opportunities, but they kind of gave up some. They gave up some stuff. Like they did the big stuff right, but it's the small things they did. Their interceptions and
They didn't execute what
yeah,
they should.
and then game 3, Flamin Wolves versus the Sea Dragons.
Sea Dragons get their first one there.
Yeah.
Good game. Good solid game.
Yeah, good song.
After Brett Hackett was out on that one. Let's talk about the topics. More topics to catch up on. We got past games already happened. Playoffs are already in. We already know that's coming up. Let's talk about the rules. If you're wondering about the rules, first of all, before the game even starts, get a little warm up for about 20 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes. So they arrive, and then they do spaces or laces for the ball inside of the field. And then if you ever want to punt it, those must be snapped. 4 10-minute quarters, a running clock, 3 timeouts, and 1 redo kick on a kickoff each
So
game.
1 KO?
Mm-hmm. KO.
1 KO.
And
Okay.
you know, all the effects that go on in the game. You got field goals, you got the pylons.
I always
No
have.
defense when you're kicking the field goals. We've seen the Sea Dragons try to kick a couple field goals. They're 0-2 doing that.
Jay's got a Lwkey.
Um,
And I have a question, but
and the
What
QB cannot run
yeah,
when they
no
get
QB
rushed.
sneaks. And what does KO mean in football?
I don't know. Just called that, I guess. 3 seconds till you can rush the ball. 5 seconds till you can rush the quarterback on that. Overtime rules. It'll be. We've yet to see it overtime this year, but if it does happen, it goes in the tackle, and there are no kickoffs. You just take it from
The one.
the 1 yard line, and you also have 1 first down at midfield just for the first overtime until you enter that second OT if that ever happens. Just like college football, and then first to score and get a stop. So if you score and then get a stop, you win the ball game. Kind of like college football there. But yeah, that will happen for sure. And you got Austin. He will be a sub for any future games. And they got the roster: Parker Campbell and Brett Hackett for the Sea Dragons, Flame Wolves, Jay Chapman and Connor Campbell, Piranhas, Gabe Penley, Nathan Cisneros, and Carson Campbell. We'll catch you right back after this commercial break. Hello everyone, welcome back. Let's get into the stats. So basically, first off, let's take a look at the Flamin' Wolves. They are 3rd in the BFL right now at 0-2, 2 losses straight. Basically, they have allowed 46 points per game allowed. So they have allowed 46 on average points going into every game they played this season. And they have also averaged 39 points per game. So they scored almost 40 points every game they played.
So that's your average.
And that's averaging a loss by a touchdown. Every game has been decided by a touchdown or less, which is very close. Very even teams here in the BFL. Sea Dragons, they have allowed 25 points per game.
That defense just.
Almost half as much as Flame Wolves. The defense is superior for the Sea Dragons. And they have only scored 25.5 points per game, though. But they don't have to score much.
Okay, what's the
defense. The Piranhas have allowed 40 points per game, which is not very good, but they have also averaged 46.5 points per game, which is big time offense numbers, which also averages by a win. So yeah, makes sense. And let's talk about the 2021 BFL schedule. We got new teams, new team names. We got new things adding. Possibly a purchase renovations for the field, such as an electric scoreboard,
benches.
maybe some bleachers and some seats. It's gonna be a lot better after this COVID thing is over. But yeah, and preseason games that were not recorded. The teams have been scrimmaging, practicing, just kicking field goals, having some fun outside. The preseason game, the final score is 35-28. Parker Campbell and Gabe Penley played. Gabe Penley is yet to be seen on the BFL channel because he is a major sim. But they defeated Connor and Jay in that preseason game.
And Gabe's gonna play one quarter of the championship.
Oh, yeah.
No, he's gonna play the full game. He has to play the full game.
Gabe Penley will play the full game in the championship, but Nathan Cisneros.
This is very scary, folks.
Sorry if I'm not pronouncing this right.
Gabe Penley.
But he will sit the first half, and Carson will play. Carson Campbell will play in the first half of that game. And then Carson will sit, and Nathan will be right back in.
Yep.
But yeah.
So
We got a tropical storm warning coming in. Very cool.
What are the?
You can see winds up to from 30 to 73 miles per hour tonight.
Can y'all see it?
There was a game planned.
Oh shoot!
It has cleared up though, but it's possible here at Campbell Field.
Yeah,
Shout out
and
to our sponsors. You can see those in the commercials during the games.
Domino's.
And Sea Dragons in second place right now at 1-1 with a 1-win streak, and the Piranhas at 2-0 with a 2-win streak. But without further ado, let's take it to our predictions for the upcoming games
I think
for the playoffs. BFL Playoffs are coming up.
if I was even on the Piranhas,
First, let's do the Sea Dragons versus Flamin' Wolves. Go ahead. What is your prediction for winning and score?
so I think the Flamin' Wolves are gonna come out with the win, cause I feel like their defense hasn't tried one bit. Jay hasn't moved one time on the defense. Connor's kind of hard carrying. Then Jay's a really good quarterback. That's basically what he's known for. And then I think the score would be about 35 to 21.
Sea Dragons?
No, Flamin' Wolves.
You got Flamin' Wolves winning.
Yes,
So you think that Flamin' Wolves defense is going to step up?
yes. And their offense. Well, their offense is actually pretty good, but it's just their defense, man. And then I think
Do you think Jake Chapman will go into playoff mode?
yes, I think he'll get swept mode. And then I think
They could be unstoppable if they play like that, for sure.
if so the Sea Dragons, like, I feel like they're gonna get lazy and like, okay, we got this.
This is not a very lazy team.
Parker,
They
just
play
because
defense.
you're on this team doesn't mean you have to say that.
They're a team that plays defense. I'm telling you that, but they do need to fix some play calling and what they do on offense for sure.
Well, yeah, and I feel like they're just gonna kind of get lazy, like Auburn did on South Carolina, and so I feel like they're gonna make a lot of mistakes, a lot of errors, and so
Turnovers.
yeah, a lot of picks, especially from.
All right, so if you have the Flamin' Wolves going to the championship as a 1-2 team to face the undefeated Piranhas, who do you have winning that game, score, and why?
The Piranhas winning, and the score would probably be 72 to about 28. I mean,
72-28.
yes. I'm gonna tell Nathan go big boy sweat mode.
You think it's gonna be a blowout? 72
Yes.
to 28. Are you sure with that score?
Yes, positive.
Carson's positive that his team, the Piranhas, will come through. Here are my predictions. First off, with the playoff game coming up in a week or so, we got the Sea Dragons and the Flamin' Wolves.
Yeah, they're really
Two
two.
pretty cool teams.
They're
but
really
very-
two good teams in this championship.
They're all teams are pretty good, but
And then
let's just talk about my prediction and why. First off, these are two very good teams. These are two very talented teams that can play. Either one of them could win. But if you look at the Sea Dragons, the way they've played, their offense is lacking. And their defense is probably not going to lag. But if you look at it, but let me tell you, it's hard to beat a team twice. They beat them last week or 2 weeks ago after the bye. But it's going to be hard to beat a team twice.
so who do you think's gonna win the Sea Dragons or?
And I feel like Flamin' Wolves will go into playoff mode. But it's going to be very close. I don't know who to choose. But if so, whichever team wins. But I am going to go with the Flamin' Wolves for this one. Just as a prediction. I think me and Brett Hackett will be in playoff mode, ready to go. Sorry, I didn't have my mask on. But put the mask on. COVID default there. But yeah, I feel like we will be in playoff mode and ready to go. But I got the Sea Dragons on this one.
You just said Flamin' Wolves.
It's gonna be close. It's gonna be a very good game. Either team could win. But I'll go with the Sea Dragons for now. We're going with the Sea Dragons for now. And they will be heading to the championship at a score of 42 to 35. I think it'll be a close game. And score more than normal.
Okay, what do you think is the score?
Heading into the championship, we got the Piranhas and the Sea Dragons as my prediction. And I got the Piranhas on this one. They're just such a dominant team. They know how to play. They got the best player in the league. And with Gabe Penley out there, it's just it could be bad. And I think they'll probably come up winning this one at a score of around. They can pound 50 on it if they really try. But with Nathan out in the first quarter, I feel like it'll be a little bit more low score than people think. And it'll come out as a somewhere around 49-31, because I do think I'm gonna kick a field goal in there. You know what I'm saying?
No.
But it won't be a blowout. But they're gonna win by maybe a good bit, whoever's in there. But yeah, because the Piranhas will come out and dominate for sure. That'll wrap up the show. We got games coming up on tap. Our commercials are down below. BFL pregame show for our next game coming up. Thank you all for joining and watching.
And let's get back to the BFL game.
We'll see you next week in the BFL game or a skills challenge coming up. Anything you'll see will be BFL related coming up here in the fall. So hopefully y'all enjoyed. This is it from Halloween night. We got tropical storms coming in, so we gotta wrap this up. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. We'll head from you later from the BFL pregame show. Until next time,
Peace.